Ever feel like some days just vanish, like puffs of smoke, totally ordinary, and then bam, there are days that don't just pass, they carve themselves into time, not for what's splashy on the surface, but for the silent, massive currents moving underneath. Listen up, June 30th, 2025, that's not just another Tuesday, it's a dividing line, a moment that's going to starkly separate the spiritually asleep from the truly awake, those just drifting from those walking their deliberate path. When the divine whisper came, saying, everything shifts on June 30th, it wasn't for kicks, not some headline to stir up drama or baseless fear. It was a sacred, quiet heads up, meant only for those who've bothered to cultivate that inner stillness, the kind you need to actually hear truth. Face it, our world is a non-stop noise machine, isn't it? Every single day, you're bombarded. Voices telling you who to be, what to dread, what shiny thing to chase next. This outside circus pulls you every which way, yanking you from the only journey that truly counts, the one happening inside you. So many folks are out there, desperately hunting for big, flashy signs, waiting for some Hollywood-style, undeniable proof. But sometimes the most profound messages arrive in the quiet gap between your thoughts. Sometimes truth speaks only when everything else finally shuts up, that subtle hum before the storm. It's not a threat, it's an invitation. But here's the kicker, only those who've trained their ears, their hearts, their very being to recognize the ring of truth will get what's on offer. A whisper like this isn't heard with your ears, it's felt with your core awareness. To catch it, you've got to clear out the inner clutter, the noise, the fear, the ego, the endless wanting. Why will most people miss the boat on June 30th? Because they're too busy frantically searching for what they want to hear, instead of preparing themselves to hear what's actually true. See, when your mind's crammed with opinions, there's no room for wisdom. When you're bursting with expectations, you'll completely miss the unexpected. This is precisely why the ancient masters, the sages, the true spiritual warriors, they all trained in stillness. They knew deep down that only in that inner emptiness can genuine, divine truth actually pour in. There's a quiet, internal prep work that has to happen. Just like a tree doesn't just pop into bloom in spring without the silent, deep work of winter, your spirit needs that quiet incubation for its own awakening. Many think real change hits like a lightning bolt, but true transformation, the kind that reshapes your very soul, starts way before anything cracks on the surface. It kicks off when you start tuning into those tiny nudges inside, when your habits subtly begin to shift, when your thoughts get a bit clearer, sharper, when you find yourself choosing silence over yet another pointless argument, choosing discipline over easy comfort, choosing awareness over mindless distraction. These aren't just random blips, they're signals. Your inner world is starting to answer a deeper call. And what's that call? It's the quiet voice of your destiny, the one that's saying get ready, get aligned, cleans what's holding you back. It's not yelling, because yelling is for the untrained. Whispers are for those who've earned the right to hear. Think about a martial arts grandmaster. They train for years in total silence, preparing for a test nobody else even knows is on the horizon. Your spiritual journey, same deal. You are being meticulously prepared for a fundamental shift. And this shift, it won't send out a press release. It won't beg for your attention or ask for your RSVP. It will simply arrive. And when it does, it won't play favorites with the loudmouths or the arrogant. It will elevate the ones who are genuinely ready. Imagine a concert violinist practicing day in, day out for years unseen. The moment they hit the stage, people gasp, such talent. What they don't see are those countless hours of silent, dedicated mastery. It's exactly like that for your soul. When June 30th rolls around, the world will look on puzzled, wondering why some folks seem to rise with this incredible clarity, peace, and inner power, while others just crumble into confusion, fear, and utter frustration. The answer's dead simple. Those who heard that quiet hum before the storm, they were already walking in their truth. They didn't need a global crisis to tell them to wake up. They were already wide awake. The world loves to wait for proof before it believes anything, but the spiritual path isn't about waiting, it's about becoming. If you're constantly waiting for signs, you'll never be the sign. The divine doesn't drop a message in your lap so you can just sit there hands folded. It gives you a message so you can rise, so you can act, so you can shed all those false identities, those clingy attachments, those empty goals that aren't really yours. That whisper before the storm is a profound act of mercy. It's your chance to get your house in order before the shift becomes plain for all to see. You don't need the sky to fall to start believing. You just need to feel that insistent pull in your soul and have the guts to follow it. This is why silence is so incredibly sacred. Not because it's just quiet, but because it lets you hear what the ordinary, distracted ear simply cannot pick up. Some truths, Only a still heart can truly receive them. So your training isn't about how loud you can shout, it's about how deeply, how intentionally you can listen. You've got to ask yourself, when the world throws something at you, do you just react, or do you pause and reflect? When fear rears its head, do you bolt, or do you breathe deep and face it? When the whole crowd stampedes in one direction, do you just follow blindly, or do you stand your ground and ask, wait, why? Those who've heard the whisper, they get it. Life isn't about knee-jerk reactions, it's about conscious, wise responses. But you can't respond with wisdom if you haven't first put in the hours training in silence. So many people live in a state of constant reaction. Their emotions are the boss. Their fears are the puppet master. Their attachments are the chains. And when the real storm hits, boom, total panic. They'll cry, why didn't anyone warn me this was coming? But the truth is, the warning came, it was whispered. They were just too busy, too distracted to hear it. Discipline. That's how you sharpen your awareness. It's not about self-punishment, it's about achieving crystal clarity. A warrior trains every single day, not because a battle is guaranteed tomorrow, but because readiness is their entire way of life. If you wait until the world is falling apart to try and get your spirit in shape, my friend, you've waited far too long. Your preparation starts now, in how you greet the morning, how you speak to others, how you use your precious time, how you consciously choose your thoughts. These might seem like small things, but they are the very bricks and mortar of your inner sanctuary. And when the winds of change truly blow, only those temples built on a foundation of truth will remain standing. That whisper before the storm, it also tests your humility. Lots of people think they're ready because they've hoarded knowledge. But knowledge without practice, that's just a fancy form of arrogance. You might know all the spiritual buzzwords, but are you actually living them? You might talk a good game about wisdom, but do you walk your talk with real integrity? The whisper isn't delivered to your intellect, it's received by your spirit, and the spirit only accepts what it's humble enough to truly carry. You have to let go of that desperate need to be seen, that burning desire to always be right, that craving for applause. All of that, it's just noise, and noise always drowns out truth. When June 30th arrives, the world will see what's been hidden for so long. But those who've diligently trained in silence, they won't be caught off guard. They won't panic. They'll simply take a deep breath and keep walking their path. Why? Because their direction isn't dictated by external chaos but by their deep inner alignment. Their strength doesn't come from knowing all the answers, but from consistent discipline. Their peace isn't about the absence of problems, but from the unwavering presence of their purpose. And this right here is what the whisper has always been about: your unique purpose. The divine doesn't call you just for entertainment, it calls you for genuine elevation. But here's the rub: elevation demands that you let go of what's no longer serving you, what's weighing you down. Many are crying out for change but still clinging desperately to their old, worn-out baggage. They want transformation but refuse to surrender their comfortable discomforts. You simply cannot rise if you're still clutching onto what's dragging you down. The whisper is an invitation to release the fear, the guilt, the shame, the old story you keep replaying. Only then can you become light enough to truly soar. So listen, not with your physical ears, but with the full depth of your spirit. Look not just with your eyes, but with your awakened awareness. Walk not by what you can see externally, but by your inner alignment. If you feel that pull inside you, that undeniable sense that something profound is shifting, that something is on the verge of being revealed, please, do not ignore it. Don't put it off. Begin your works now. Come back to your breath. Come back to your discipline. Come back to your truth. The whisper before the storm isn't something you chase after, it's something you become. And those who become it won't fear the storm, they'll walk right through it as if it were a gentle breeze, because they're already being carried by a far greater wind, the wind of the divine. True preparation doesn't kick in when the world finally spots the danger signs. It begins the moment your soul senses the subtle shift. And what the untrained eye completely misses, the trained spirit has already felt deeply. There's a world of difference between just reacting to life and truly aligning with life. When someone lives in reaction mode, they're always playing catch up, always scrambling for stability, always thrown for a loop when change inevitably arrives. But when a person lives in alignment, they're never truly surprised. They might not know all the nitty-gritty details, but they've already been given the heads up through their intuition, through dreams, through that persistent inner restlessness. That unease you might have been feeling, that nagging sense that something big is coming, something beyond your immediate control, that's not just anxiety, that's your spirit whispering. Hey, it's time to get ready. What unfolds on June 3rd, 2025 isn't some random out of the blue event. It's a convergence point, a gathering of energies, consequences, truths, and revelations that have been steadily building for years, maybe decades. The world might react like it's a sudden shock, but the wise ones, they know this shift has been in motion for a very long time. Spiritual laws, my friend, are never late. Every single choice you've made, every intention you've set, every action you've repeated, it's all been recorded. The universe has never been asleep at the switch. You might not have seen the cosmic balance sheet adjusting, but it's always been balancing. And the scales finally tip on these sacred days, not because there's a desire to punish, but because the fundamental laws of existence must be fulfilled. What you plant, you will harvest. What you tolerate, you eventually become. What you prepare for, you have a fighting chance to navigate and even thrive through. Preparation isn't a one-time cram session, it's a lifestyle. The individuals who are spiritually strong on June 30th won't be those who suddenly wake up that morning and decide, okay, time to change. No, it will be those who have been quietly walking the long, often invisible, path of consistent inner work. Those who've been diligently disciplining their thoughts when absolutely no one was watching. Those who chose kindness even when the world around them was being cruel. Those who held on to their inner light even when darkness offered a tempting, comfortable hiding place. These are the souls who've been preparing, not because they were scared of something, but because they knew. They knew, deep in their bones, that when the wind fundamentally shifts, you absolutely must already have your feet firmly planted. You can't be fumbling around, learning how to stand, while the hurricane is already upon you. You must already be grounded. And how do you prepare? Not by piling up more stuff, but by courageously releasing it. Not by building thicker outer walls, but by strengthening your unshakable inner core. So many people are running in a pack, chasing the same things, accumulating wealth, collecting relationships like trophies, clawing for status, desperate for recognition. But what's the real, lasting value of these things? When the very vibration of the planet itself begins to rise, what good are your shiny trophies if your own spirit feels heavy, leaden, and unprepared? You cannot outrun spiritual gravity. When the earth itself ascends, only those with light hearts, unburdened spirits, will rise with it. You must let go of bitterness, of resentment, of all that unhealed pain you've been carrying. This is the preparation. This is the cleansing. Because when that energetic veil finally lifts, and believe me, it will, everything that's been hidden will become glaringly visible. You can't fake peace. You can't fake discipline. You cannot pretend to be in alignment. On that day, your energy, your very essence, will speak far louder than any words you could ever utter. The world will react, it always does. It reacts to scary headlines, it reacts to crisis, it reacts to fear. But the spirit, the prepared spirit, doesn't react, the spirit prepares. The spirit understands that true timing isn't dictated by the clock on the wall, but by deep, resonant alignment. When it was said that everything changes, that wasn't a reference to your daily schedule, it was referring to your soul's unique timeline. There are seasons in your life that you don't choose, they choose you. And this upcoming season, my friend, is not one for idle dreaming, it is one for decisive doing. It's not for the mind that just wishes for things, it's for the soul that actively moves towards its destiny. You absolutely must ask yourself, am I still making excuses? Am I still waiting for someone else's permission? Am I still trying to argue with undeniable truth? Because the time for endless questioning has passed. The time for committed action is as now. Preparation looks different for everyone. For some, it will mean finally choosing profound stillness over constant mind-numbing stimulation. For others, it will mean bravely facing the pain they've buried deep down for years. For some, it's about decisively cutting cords with people or situations that have been draining their precious energy. For others, it's about finding the strength to forgive what once seemed absolutely unforgivable. These are not small, insignificant acts, these are internal revolutions. These are the crucial steps that build the kind of inner world that doesn't just crumble when the outer world inevitably begins to shift, and shift it will. Not to scare you, not to break you, but to reveal you. Because all things hidden, all truth suppressed, will eventually rise to the surface. And when that great unveiling happens, you will clearly see two types of people. Those who are utterly terrified by the truth, and those who have diligently trained in truth. When a seed is planted, it doesn't cry out for sunlight. It inherently trusts that its growth is part of a natural, sacred cycle. It doesn't resist the darkness of the soil, it embraces it, knowing that the light is inevitably coming. In exactly the same way, your deepest preparation has been happening in the quiet, often unseen moments. Maybe you haven't been able to fully explain to others why you've felt different lately. Maybe your habits have been subtly changing, almost on their own. Maybe you've completely lost interest in shallow, meaningless conversations. Maybe you found yourself naturally withdrawing from drama, from excessive noise, from pointless conflict. This is not some random coincidence. This is spiritual alignment in progress. This is the deeper part of you instinctively responding to the upcoming fundamental change. It's as if your soul is already packing its bags for a journey that your conscious mind doesn't yet fully grasp. And that's perfectly okay. Let your soul lead the way, let your mind learn to follow. Many will try to cram their preparation in at the very last moment. They'll frantically rush to consume spiritual teachings, rush to fix deeply ingrained broken habits, rush to somehow feel safe. But here's the unvarnished truth: you cannot rush alignment. You cannot microwave spiritual mastery. You cannot download genuine discipline. These profound qualities are forged slowly, painstakingly, over time, through consistent effort. And if you have already started on this path, even if you feel you're far from perfect, please understand this crucial point: you are already ahead of the wave. Keep walking, keep building, because the vibrant energy of the new world simply cannot be carried by a self that stubbornly refuses to evolve. This shift isn't interested in who you pretend to be, it is only and utterly interested in who you truly are. And that truth, your core essence, is either radiantly free or it is tragically trapped. The entire process of preparation is the sacred act of setting it free. Every true warrior sharpens his sword long before any battle, not out of fear, but out of a deep sense of honor and readiness. The spiritual warrior doesn't wait for external signs to get serious about their inner work. They are always ready. Not because they crave conflict, but because genuine, lasting peace requires profound inner strength. On June 30th, the delicate balance of inner strength and authentic peace will be rigorously tested. Those who possess no real inner peace will be utterly overwhelmed by the sheer intensity of the energy. Those who have cultivated no true inner strength will be paralyzed by the breathtaking speed of the change. And so, you must train now. Train your thoughts to hold stillness amidst chaos. Train your emotions to respond with grace under pressure. Train your body to carry discipline as a habit. Train your spirit to trust the unseen, the yet to manifest. Let go, completely, of the comfortable illusion that you have more time than you do. Time is never promised, but your conscious presence right here, right now, is always available. And in that powerful presence, all things become possible. Your future isn't out there waiting for you to idly wish for it, it is eagerly waiting for you to actively build it. You don't need to be perfect, you only need to be fully present. And from that state of genuine presence, you must build the habits that nourish your vital energy. Build the boundaries that fiercely protect your precious peace. Build the daily rituals that awaken your deepest awareness. These are the very bricks of the unshakable foundation you will stand upon when everything around you begins to shift. And what about those who stubbornly ignore the call? What of those who openly mock the whisper? Who casually say, "Ah, nothing will happen, it's just another ordinary day"? These are the very ones who will be profoundly shocked. Not because they weren't warned, but because they actively refuse to listen. Denial, my friend, does not protect you from the truth, it only tragically delays your preparation. And when truth finally arrives, as it always does, it doesn't politely ask if you're ready, it simply and powerfully shows itself. If you have trained, you will see it as a wise teacher. If you have not, you will perceive it as a terrifying threat. This isn't a threat from some external deity, it is the direct, unavoidable result of your own resistance. So prepare not in fear, but in deep reverence. Prepare not because some disaster is looming, but because a profound awakening is coming. Prepare not for the world's panicked reaction, but for your soul's magnificent expansion. There is an undeniable beauty that arrives when you are truly ready. There is a potent power that activates when you genuinely align. There is a profound peace that settles deep within you when you finally surrender to the flow. And this peace, this true peace, is not found in the chaotic noise of the external world. It is discovered in your consistent practice, in your conscious breathing, in your cultivated stillness, in your sacred silence. Do not look to the outer world for signs of safety or for validation. True safety is not out there, it is meticulously built within your inner world. It's in how you choose to respond to chaos. It's in how you treat others when no one is watching your actions. It's in the courageous decisions you make when it would be far easier to just remain comfortably asleep. Every single step you take today diligently builds your response to tomorrow's inevitable test. Every moment you choose to rise in discipline actively prepares you to rise in energy. Every time you firmly say no to what drains you, you are powerfully saying yes to what prepares you. There are fundamentally two ways to meet June 30th, with stunned surprise or with quiet certainty. The first path leads inevitably to confusion and disarray. The second leads to profound clarity and resilience. And that clarity doesn't come from trying to guess the future, it comes from diligently preparing your present moment awareness. The energy of that specific day is already approaching. The current is undeniably building. You may not see it with your physical eyes, but your spirit, if you quiet down enough to listen, can definitely feel it. Honor that feeling. Don't numb it with distractions. Don't try to rationalize it away. Let it lead you to your personal training ground. Let it pull you deeper into your dedicated practice. Let it serve as a constant reminder what you do in silence, in those unseen moments, is never wasted. It is stored, it is remembered, it is multiplied. And when the world around you begins to shake, you will not, because you were not waiting for the world to tell you what was coming. You had already begun your preparation. You were not reacting out of fear, you were already ready. You were not desperately seeking safety, you were standing firmly within it. There's a massive misunderstanding in our modern world about how real, lasting transformation actually happens. Many people genuinely believe that just the wanting change is enough, that simply setting intentions is the magic key, that declaring goals, writing them down, repeating affirmations, that all this somehow obligates the universe to bend to their will. But the sacred laws of existence don't bow to mere intention, they bow to authentic alignment. Energy doesn't follow what you just wish for, it follows who you fundamentally are. When the divine message came that everything changes on June 30th, 2025, it wasn't a memo to those who are merely hoping for the best, it was a clear signal to those who have actively aligned themselves with truth, in their thoughts, in their words, and critically, in their actions. The huge mistake so many make is assuming that having a clear desire somehow equals being in a state of readiness. But the universe, the divine intelligence, the Tao, whatever name you give it, it doesn't listen to your surface level wishes, it tunes into the actual vibration you consistently carry. You can desperately want peace yet continue to live in and create chaos. You can crave abundance yet walk around steeped in a mindset of fear and lack. You can proclaim you want transformation but then stubbornly refuse the discipline it requires. This is the critical disconnection. This is precisely why that divine whisper is only truly received by those whose daily habits, whose inner dialogues, and whose unspoken underlying intentions are harmonized into one coherent frequency. That frequency isn't found in just thinking positive thoughts alone, it is discovered and cultivated through consistent, lived alignment. Alignment isn't about pretending. It's not about trying to act spiritual. It's definitely not about the external rituals you perform for others to see and admire. True alignment is often invisible to the outside world, but is absolutely undeniable to the universe. You cannot trick energy. You cannot fake resonance. You either vibrate at the level of truth, or you don't. And when that powerful energetic portal swings open on June 30th, 2025, it will not care one bit about what you intended to become. It will only and powerfully amplify what you already are. That is the great, unshakable spiritual truth. Energy amplifies alignment, not just your words or wishes. Your personal energy field will be the key. The genuine quality of your inner life will be the ultimate measure. This is why true preparation isn't about talking more about spirituality, it's about becoming more, embodying it. If you say you want peace but you continually choose conflict in your interactions, you are fundamentally misaligned. If you claim you are ready for abundance but you live every day from a place of scarcity and fear, you are misaligned. If you call yourself a light worker but you regularly engage in gossip, constant complaining, and harbor deep resentment, you are profoundly misaligned. These are not small trivial matters, these are significant spiritual fractures. And when a flood of divine energy pours onto the planet, it seeks coherence. It naturally rewards those who are whole, who are integrated. It elevates those who are deeply honest, not necessarily perfect, but radically honest with themselves and others. The world often celebrates the loud, the flashy, the ambitious, the polished exterior, but the divine in its wisdom lifts up the sincere, the genuinely aligned, the quietly disciplined. There's a sacred equation at work here, and it's this: your consistent thoughts, plus your spoken words, plus your daily actions, equals your actual vibration. If your thoughts say, "I trust the process," but your words are riddled with doubt and your actions are hesitant and fearful, your overall vibration is one of confusion. If your thoughts declare, "I am ready for this change," but your words are defensive and your actions are impulsive and reactive, your vibration is one of dissonance. And no matter how often you repeat your positive intentions, no matter how beautifully you write them down on fancy paper, If your very being is fractured and inconsistent, your energy will remain stubbornly out of tune with the incoming energetic shift. And when an energy field doesn't match the prevailing current, it gets left behind. The planet isn't just changing on an intellectual level, it is rising vibrationally. The changes that are coming are not designed to favor the merely clever or knowledgeable. They will unequivocally favor the truly aligned. This is why so many people who seem perfectly prepared on the outside will suddenly find themselves overwhelmed, while those who have quietly, diligently done the deep inner work will rise with an astonishing grace and ease. There is a speed, a velocity to spiritual energy that only a still heart can truly hold and manage. There is a frequency so incredibly high that only the genuinely humble can successfully tune into it. And on June 30th, when this frequency dramatically intensifies, your level of alignment will not be something you can suddenly edit, control or fake. It will be starkly, undeniably revealed. Many will experience this as an intense pressure. They will feel completely exposed. Because when the vibration of pure truth rises, anything false, anything inauthentic, is forcefully brought to the surface. This is the divine test, and it's not based on your outward performance but on your inner purity. It won't ask how many spiritual books you read, it will ask, did you actually apply what you learned? It won't ask how many followers you gained online, it will ask, how many times did you stay loyal to your deepest truth when absolutely no one was watching? It won't ask how loud your voice was in proclaiming your beliefs, it will ask, how truly still and centered was your mind? Alignment is quiet, almost invisible, but its effects are absolutely seismic. There are three foundational pillars that build true, lasting alignment: unwavering integrity, consistent discipline, and profound surrender. Integrity means you live in accordance with your deepest truth, even when it costs you comfort or popularity. You say no to what betrays your soul, even if it means displeasing others. You keep your word not just to other people but, crucially, to yourself. Discipline means you consistently do what needs to be done, not just what feels good or easy in the moment. You rise early when your body craves more sleep. You breathe deeply through rising anger instead of explosively reacting. You diligently train your emotions, your focus, and your energy on a daily basis, like a dedicated athlete. And surrender means you consciously release the illusion of control, not out of weakness, but out of a deep, abiding trust in a larger wisdom. You stop trying to manipulate outcomes. You stop trying to force your personal timing on the universe. You align with the divine flow and walk with it, even when, and especially when, it doesn't make logical sense to your rational mind. Most people attempt to force energy. They try to hustle and grind their way into higher states of being. But force always inevitably creates friction and resistance. Genuine flow, on the other hand, creates harmony and ease. You must learn to become the open space through which energy can flow freely and powerfully. You must actively remove the blockages your ego's demands, your deep-seated fears, your lingering resentments, your habit of comparison, your crippling impatience. These things constrict your vibration, choke your energy. And when the fundamental frequency of the world shifts upwards, constricted, blocked energy simply collapses. But when you are in true alignment, you are like a perfectly crafted flute, hollow of ego, pure in your intention, and completely ready to be played by the divine breath of inspiration. There is a sacred, impeccable timing unfolding. And just like a tree doesn't bloom out of season but at its perfectly appointed time, so too does the soul. But you cannot rush your own blooming, you must diligently water your roots. Your roots are your daily discipline. Your roots are your moments of profound silence. Your roots are the small, consistent choices you make in those unseen, quiet moments. What you do when absolutely no one is watching determines your ultimate readiness for when everyone is watching. And on June 30th, the revealing light will not only shine on the earth, it will shine through you, or it will expose what's unaligned within you. There will be no comfortable middle ground. Energy does not tolerate half-truths. It either flows unimpeded through clarity or it grinds to a halt at distortion. That is why this very moment, this precious now, is your sacred training ground. Not tomorrow, not when you magically feel ready. No, because the spiritual law is elegantly simple. You rise to the level of your genuine alignment, not your grand desires. You receive according to your diligent preparation, not your eloquent declarations. And you will be tested not by what you say you believe, but by who you have actually, truly become. You must ask yourself this with brutal honesty: have I become the kind of person who can authentically carry this next level of truth, this expanded power, this greater responsibility? Or am I still just hoping the external world will somehow magically change while I stubbornly remain the same? You are not waiting for energy to arrive. Energy is patiently waiting for you. The divine current has always been flowing, ceaselessly. The real question is, can you hold it? Are you a worthy, clear container, or are you still unconsciously leaking your precious power through ingrained bad habits, scattered attention, and knee-jerk emotional reactivity? Your ability to consciously hold and direct energy is your spiritual maturity. And spiritual maturity isn't about chronological age, it is about profound awareness, about radical accountability, about choosing evolution over ego again and again and again, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. On June 30th, the divine pulse, the heartbeat of existence, will intensify dramatically. Some will rise effortlessly because their internal structure, their spiritual scaffolding, is strong and resilient. Others will shake and crumble because their foundation was built on illusion, on shifting sands. You must build your inner temple now, not with bricks and mortar, but with conscious breath, not with abstract theories, but with consistent, embodied actions. You must diligently clean the windows of your mind so you can see clearly. You must thoroughly sweep the floors of your soul, clearing out old debris. You must courageously open the doors of your heart to let the pure light stream in, because energy, sacred, divine, and undeniably real, does not enter into chaos, it flows into order, not the rigid order of tight control, but the harmonious order of authentic alignment. This alignment requires profound honesty, a brutal yet deeply loving honesty with yourself. You must look at your life unflinchingly and ask, where am I still out of tune with my deepest truth? Where am I still pretending, wearing a mask? Where am I still choosing fleeting comfort over genuine, lasting growth? The answers will not always be pleasant or easy to face, but they hold the power to set you profoundly free. You cannot heal what you steadfastly deny. You cannot align with what you stubbornly refuse to confront. But when you do, when you finally see yourself clearly with all your imperfections and love yourself deeply enough to commit to real change, the entire universe subtly shifts in your favor. Not because it's suddenly rewarding you, but because you have finally at long last become truly resonant with its natural rhythm. And this, my friend, is the final key. Alignment is not some static state you achieve once and then you're done. It is something you consciously return to, again and again and again. Each moment presents a fresh chance to return. Each breath is a doorway back to powerful presence. Each choice is an opportunity to tune yourself like a precious musical instrument. And just like a finely crafted stringed instrument, you don't tune it just once and then forget about it. You must tune it daily, with care, with focused attention, with loving awareness. Because the music you play, the very life you live, depends entirely on your consistent, conscious tuning. When that sacred day arrives, the world will not change you, it will simply and starkly reveal you. The incoming flood of energy will not magically create your alignment, it will powerfully magnify what's already there. And so, the most important, most vital work you can possibly do is not to hope, not to fear, but to align. Not just in theory but in daily practice. Not for applause or external validation, but for your own deepest truth. Not to impress anyone, but to authentically express your soul. Not from a place of fear of the future, but from a profound reverence for the power of this present moment. Because in the end, it will not be your ambitious goals that carry you through the storm, it will be your unshakable groundedness. It will be your cultivated silence. It will be your hard-won, authentic alignment.